Welcome back. Alexandra Zagbayu is the Executive Director of Student U, an organization that empowers and equips first-generation college students in Durham Public Schools, their families and educators to become the leaders that will transform our city. Welcome to the show, Alexandra. It's so nice of you to join us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about Student U and, of course, the learning centers I'm hearing quite a bit about.
So Student U is an organization that was started in Durham 13 years ago. We have the pleasure of working with students starting in 6th grade through college graduation, so for 11 years, in ensuring that students have access to the educational opportunities they need during the school year and during the summers to continue to grow and learn in order to be on the path towards college and life beyond. We fundamentally believe that our students are not just, that our work is not just about helping students go to college, but to give them with the tools in order for them to be change makers. And so our big, bold vision is that the young people that we get to work with, their parents and the educators that we also support and help teach and train can all be part of making Durham a more just and equitable city.
Now, the learning centers, is this something that has been created because of the pandemic we're experiencing, or is this something that is part of the overall, philosophy?
So learning centers are a response to the challenges that families are experiencing as a result of COVID-19. When we realized that our district was going to operate either in Plan B or Plan C all year, we knew that there'd be families in our community, children whose parents may have lost jobs during COVID, or children who experience homelessness, children whose parents are essential workers and may not be able to be home and support their children, that there would be some amount of children in our community who wouldn't be able to have access to the conditions in their homes in order to be able to learn. And so along with a number of other community partners, the YMCA, Kate's Corner, EDCI, Emily K Center, Made in Durham, Boys and Girls Club, Spark and Rex, really started thinking about what is a solution to ensuring that those children could still have safe spaces where they could go in order to learn.
I think that's awesome. And I agree with you 100%. And that social interaction that's missing right now, that I gotta believe addresses that as well. But how is it that you are able to create a safe space during this pandemic? Because you know how scary it is.
On top of everyone's mind certainly is the coronavirus. What is it going to take in order to make sure that we can create the safest condition? And for all of the partners who are currently in operating learning centers, that is one of our #1 priorities. So first and foremost, all people who are going to be in a learning center have to wear a mask, because we know that that's really important. Another important expectations for all of us is that all of the students will be 6 feet apart, because we know that that's extremely important. We are intentional about choosing locations and spaces that have really up-to-date HVAC, because we know that ventilation is also really important. And then we're screening everyone who comes through learning centers to make sure that anyone who might have a symptom cannot come into the center, or if those symptoms develop while they're at the center, that they're able to be isolated and to be able to leave that space and get access to the medical support they need. Anyone who has that kind of a experience is going to be required to quarantine and not come back to the center. And lastly, all people, children and staff are organized in pods so that we can do contact tracing should we be in a position when that occurs. We'll also have intentionally chosen spaces that can have students being outside so that we can, again, move children from the inside and the outdoors, give them safe spaces to congregate, recognizing the parameters that COVID-19 puts on us, while also, again, honoring the fact that we want everyone to be able to learn. And for some young people, that might not be able to happen at home. And so really partnering together and pulling our collective resources to make that happen.
That you can pull it off, and unfortunately, so many kids don't have that opportunity. In fact, let me ask you, for kids who are in the situation that you've more or less described, how do they get involved? How in the Durham Public School System do they end up in a learning center? How can they get into a learning center?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are still, all of our partners still have space for students who need this resource. So you can find on the Student U website, you can enroll directly. Durham Public Schools on their website. You can also have a tab for learning centers when you can enroll directly. Kate's Corner and the YMCA all have tabs on their website when you can enroll directly. If you also contact me, Alexandra Zagbayu at Student U, I can ensure that you have access to our community resource guide, which we have created. That's a hub where anyone who's interested in enrolling their child or their neighbor or the friend of their students who they know need access to this resource can go and ensure that those children are identified and enrolled. It's extremely important to us as partners who are working diligently, not just to have the spaces available, but to make sure that they're available for free for the students that we know who need it, that as many people in our community know about this service and can help us in ensuring we get to all of the students who need it.
And you do want to provide it for free, which means you probably could use some folks who are willing to finance some of this. How do they get in touch with you and help you?
Yes, so through a really wonderful partnership with the Durham Public School Foundation, they are serving as the fiscal sponsor for their learning centers. So anyone who's interested in making a donation to their digital equity campaign, which is supporting learning centers, you can go to their website and you can make a donation there. You can also specify that you would like that funding to go directly to learning centers, and it will be made available to the partners who are doing this work to ensure that we can provide free space for all of the children in our Durham community who need it.
Alexandra, thank you for what you're doing and for your time today. We really very much appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us and for enabling us to share more about both the incredible need that is present in our community and also ways that people can partner with us to make sure we support children in our community.
Our viewers will step up, I know it. Thank you again. And thank you for watching. And we hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you have any questions or would like to know more, visit our website at RaleighCW.com and myrdctv.com. I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We'll see you next week.